Hello, welcome back to another edition of an unboxing video. You may notice, obviously, that here lately I have been doing a lot of stereo and component and speaker stuff. I'm not the expert, by the way. I'm just doing unboxing videos so that, again, if you come here, you can kind of see what's going on. You can judge for yourself if you like it or not, as far as based upon what you're seeing, what you're hearing. That's my whole purpose here. Okay? So, and again, as you can tell, I'm doing this in the backwards mode, the selfie mode, and that's why everything reads backwards, but I will just explain what I can. So, what this one is, so basically, let me just kind of give you a little backstory here. Again, 65 F100. I wanted to have a stereo system very similar to the one that I had in my 1978. And what I had in there is I had a head unit, I had a two-component system with two tweeters, two 6 or 6.5 speakers in the door panel area, and I had two 12 subwoofers in behind my seat. And again, remember, this was years ago, so this was back when technology was not quite as advanced as it is today. So 12 subs. I had a very compact box. I probably had those subs in a box that was too small, actually, but it was the only way I could get it to fit. I still have that box system. I was thinking about actually putting it in the back of my 65 because, I have it. The thing is, though, is that I have right now a rear, I have the fuel tank behind the seat, so it will not fit at all. And I don't know why or how per se, but I bought some stuff from Crutchfield, my head unit, the two-component speaker system, the retro sound, that kind of thing. And for whatever reason, this came up. In other words, what I'm saying is that I didn't realize that you could now get very compact amplified subwoofer systems already built and in a box, a factory box. I had no idea. I mean, yeah, I know I sound like an old dinosaur, like I don't, I'm not keeping up with the times here, but I haven't messed with stereos and that kind of stuff for a very long time because I just use my factory radios and stereos inside of my, Chrysler Town and Country and just whatever I'm driving around, right? But on my 65, I knew I wanted to, have a nice stereo, a good one, a lot like, again, what I had in my 78. And of course, it has nothing in there. Like, it doesn't have a speaker, it doesn't have a radio, it has absolutely nothing. So I know I'm going to have to build something to put in there, right? Because if you go to Crutchfield and you ask them, hey, I want to do, the factory, or, you put in 65 F100, blah, 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 they're going to tell you that you need a retro sound right here. They're going to tell you you need this speaker here, and that's all you can put in there because this is the only thing that fits. And then they're going to tell you need a retro sound kind of, DIN radio with the two knobs and whatnot. And believe me, for $400 for that aftermarket DIN, and all it does is just AM, FM, I don't think so. Now, of course, I hear it actually Bluetooth as well. I should take that back. But for $130, $40, I got a Pioneer 522, which is way more capable, and I don't really care if it looks original or not. Plus, I'm mounting my head unit up into a custom, I would say, overhead console that I'm going to be building up in the ceiling of the cab. Okay, so let's get to this. So I started looking around, or somehow caught wind of, that, hey, you can get an 8-inch sub that's already enclosed and it has an amp and it's compact and blah blah blah. And as everybody knows, I mean, some of these speakers today are amazing. Like, they're, like you get these little Bluetooth speakers that are maybe like the size of a big old drinking tumbler, and they just sound crazy amazing. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see if this 8-inch is going to satisfy my my thirst and my need. I do have big 6.5 and a tweeter and that retro sound dual voice coil, so I already know that I'm going to be able to fill that pickup up with sound as far as, you know, guitars, highs, drums, all that kind of stuff. But now I need to do some bass. And this one, I started doing some investigation after I caught wind of this, and they actually had a sale or whatever at Crushfield for this, but I did not buy this on Crushfield, by the way. Okay, so again, 8-inch subwoofer, one single subwoofer, has the amplifier already in it. It had the cage that this thing is already wrapped up inside of. All you got to do is power and feed it an input, and it supposedly works. And it's supposed to be compact and fit pretty much anywhere. Okay. I can't fit it behind my seat as far as the big 12-inch box because of the fuel tank. I don't know about this because I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty much assuming this is going to go under the seat, which is where I'm intending to place it at this time. But at the same time, I should also admit that I am planning on possibly building a center console down on the floor because I have an automatic I will have an automatic transmission. I got a 3 on the tree now. I can still do it, but I plan to take the 3 on the tree out and put a 6R80 transmission automatic in. But my point is, I'm thinking about building a center console down there low on the floor for, you know, cup holders and cubbies and all that other stuff. And this could easily, I know, fit underneath that. So that might be another place where this thing goes, okay? So this one is the Kicker 150 watt HS Hideaway 8-inch single powered subwoofer enclosure. Let's kind of take a look at some of the specs here. Hideaway 8-inch, powered by a 150 watt amplifier for deep extended bass. Integrated 150 watt amplifier, Velcro fastener straps. So you got Velcro fastener straps that you can put down on the floor and then just strap over the top of this thing, because you typically, I'm again not an expert, but I do know enough that you do not want to actually ground the amplifier itself to the body. Like, this is an aluminum metal body here, and you do not want to actually ground it to the actual metal body of the vehicle, because you could have some electrical noise. You want to actually ground only the ground wire, not the actual body. So that's the reason why they have the strap with the Velcro, for those that don't know. See, adjustable remote gain. It has a crossover in it, which is, again, another reason why I was very impressed and why I think this might work. Again, technology today, smaller speakers are way more amazing than they used to be. And with the fact that it has a crossover, that it will actually only do, like, it won't distort because you're throwing guitars and, cymbals and stuff through it. It's going to, kind of block that stuff out and only push the bass sounds in here. So this might actually do everything we need it to do because of that, okay? It has a bass boost in it and flexible turn-on options as far as a remote wire, a DC offset, those kinds of things. And then, of course, what do we got over here? We got a whole bunch of specifications over here. Obviously, it's 8-inch, 150. Frequency response 25 to 120 hertz, sorry. Probably not much else that you really care about unless you're an expert, and if that's the case, go look it up yourself, okay? So you can actually see here a picture of the unit itself. You can see the Velcro strap. You can also see that they got apparently some sort of metal bracket system. There's the Velcro strap thing. But again, I do not recommend that, the metal bracket system, because that you need to ground the ground wire and not the case itself. All right, so let's get to open it. Oh, one more thing before we get to that. Let me tell you, like I said, I was at Crushfield. I saw this. They had it on sale. It was like a scratch and dent. Okay, so Crushfield apparently has brand new. Then which these things are like $299, over $300. And then they have scratch and dent, and there's one more category. I forget what that category is, but I think it's open box. I think it's open box, and then it goes to scratch and dent. So you have open box, which is, you know, less money because it was sent out, it was opened, they sent it back, they didn't want it. Now they just looked it over and said, hey, it looks brand new, send it back to you. Then there's scratch and dent, which they bought it, used it, or scratched it, or whatever. I mean, it looks like it's used, and then they sent it back, and again, Crutchfield looked it over, made sure that it was good, and you can buy that one. Okay, so my point to all that is that I saw this on Crutchfield. I investigated it amongst all the other ones, by the way. Once I saw this one, I was like, well, there's got to be more. So I started looking and went through everything and found out that there's a whole bunch more. But then, you know, I like the Kicker brand, and this seems to be the right size. It seems to, you know, there was some 10-inch units. I think there's some 12-inch units as well. But again, based on all the specifications, based on all the features and the sizes, I went with this one, okay? But again, I didn't do it with Crutchfield, because what happened was I put the scratch and dent one in my cart. I don't care what this thing looks like. I just want it to work, and I want it, and I believe it's going to work pretty good. I didn't care what it looked like, so I went with the scratch and dent version, which it put it in my cart. It was at $213 or something like that. And then, like I said, and that's how I initially did it, right? Like, so I found this thing popped up, and I saw, you know, the brand new price, saw the open box price, saw the scratch and dent price. I'm like, oh, hey, look at the scratch and dent. If it works, that's all I care about. I don't care if it's all scratched up or even got a dent in it. So put that in my cart right away. Then that is when I started going, well, wait a minute. If there's this one, there's got to be more. There's got to be others. And that's when I started doing my research. Well, as you know, you get online, guess what happens? You start searching. Before you know it, another hour, 2 hours has gone by, and you're sitting there like, you're really into it now at this point, right? Okay, so I go to my cart after I did all that research and said, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this one. And I went to my cart, and Crutchfield, for whatever reason, I have no idea why, the price went up. It went from $213 and went up to $245 all of a sudden. By the time taxes and everything got included with that sucker, it was going to be just under, I think it was going to be like $280 is what it was going to be. And I was like, what the hell? I mean, why did that price go up? I looked, I saw that there was still the open box option, there was still the brand new option. I even took it out of the cart and put it back in the cart to see if it would change that price back. It never did. So at that point, I was like, well, fuck you, Crutchfield. That's how you gonna play? I mean, you know, you had me. You never said that you got 5 minutes to do this or whatever. I mean, none of that ever popped up. So I'm just like, okay, that's where you want to be. So, you know, trust the old eBay, which I don't, again, like the eBay organization per se, but I really like the fact that they have small mom and pops and, stores, and they got, obviously big stores there as well. I mean, they got everything, right? And it's probably one of the easiest ways to search for products anymore. It's kind of gotten away from what it used to be, which was a garage sale. But my point is that it's pretty convenient and handy. And I'm, again, not a fan of eBay, but I found on eBay a company that is supposedly is an authorized dealer for this, for Kicker. And they are doing the same thing as Crutchfield. They don't sell it brand new. They just sell it as a scratch and dent or as a used unit. And they had it for $160. So I was like, all right, now we're talking. So I'm getting the same thing I'd be getting over at Crutchfield. Difference is I'm going to be paying a lot less. Now, They had, I read the terms and all that. They guarantee it for a year, blah, 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 because they're an authorized factory outlet, etc., etc. I went out there and I tried to find, that's the other thing I do try to do quite a bit, is when I find it on eBay, because again, not a fan per se of eBay and its organization, its commie ways, but I do try to support the mom and pops and all those other places out there that are on eBay. So what I did was I looked up the seller and I tried to find them outside online so that I could buy direct from their website, and eBay couldn't get a cut out of it. And unfortunately, I couldn't find that. So I ended up just buying it there, because if I save myself $100, over $100, you know, saving yourself $100 for the same damn thing from a factory authorized dealer, both ways, etc., to me is worth it. Saving an extra $100 because you know, an inferior product or whatever, that's a different story. You know, I will pay more for the better product, for the better warranty or whatever. But if you're getting the same thing, then to me, it was worth it, okay? Not that I have to justify myself for you, but anyway, just letting you know how I feel about the whole thing. All right, we're going to unbox this thing finally. Yeah, that's right. You're going to finally get me to shut up and do what I intended to do here. Okay, so opening it up, you can see here, right here, look at all this. And I will admit that I did unbox it already, and I took the plastic bag off of the unit. So I'm fully going to admit that. But this one here, I wanted to open it right away after I got it from shipping, because you know, again, it came from a factory authorized dealer, they supposedly, and I just wanted to make sure that this was what they said it was. As a matter of fact, Hi-Fi Sound Connection, that's the name of the place. Hi-Fi Sound Connection. Apparently they are out of Nixon, Missouri. That's where they're at. Okay, so I'm assuming that, you know, again, they're factory authorized. They fix these units when they come in, and then they get to resell them, right? I'm assuming that this one here was burned up. The reason why I say that is because if you've ever smelled electrical burning or component burning or whatever, you know that smell. And this one, right now even, has just a hint of that smell. Okay? Again, I don't care. It will eventually air out. And I don't care as long as it works. So, again, I've got their contact information. According to what I read, I have the 1-year warranty, factory authorized warranty. I should be good here, because again, they claim to be a factory authorized dealer. The fact that it does have that just a slight tinge of electrical burnt smell does not bother me. I did pull it out, and I have a little bit of rubbing and wear on the backside, but the rest of it looks new. I'll show you that here in a minute. But again, it has all brand new hardware here, by the way. All brand new hardware in here. And the obviously the instructions here. Okay. I'm not going to open the instruction, by the way. So if you can't get over that, you can't get over that. I guess it's going to suck for you. So let's go through this bag here, though. Okay. So here is obviously the Velcro straps that you strap it down, and it has some crimp connector terminals here, ring terminals, the hardware to tie these Velcro, these straps down. Here is a fuse holder, and let's see if I boy, this sucker's well, this thing's brand new. See if I can get this thing open without stabbing myself and hurting myself or whatever on camera, to where you can start laughing at me. Alright, so this is the 15 amp automotive ATO fuse, I believe is what these are. So, yeah, this is brand new, obviously. You can see it needs to be cut right here in order to be used. Let's see, it says AW 14 gauge AWG. If you've heard me before, you've heard me say that it's, you know, you talk to the big boys, they say that you need to be powering these amps and stuff at 10 and 12 gauge wire, and here we got 14 gauge fuse holder, so I imagine that's probably for this. You can actually see the plug right here, and here's the big red wire, and it is, see what it says on that. AWG 14 gauge. So they're telling you to power this up with 14 gauge wire, which I guess if that's what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. I guarantee you, if you go and you talk to somebody who knows what they're doing, or who does this, you know, like for real, for like, you know, power, for performance, they're going to tell you 10, 12 gauge minimum, but probably 10 and 8 gauge or stuff like that, especially for a longer run. But whatever, this is the factory original harness, and I'm going to be using it as much as possible. Okay, now let's open this up, which I think this is the boost controller, remote boost controller. Yep, that's what it is. So get it out of the plastic bag here. And yeah, there's a metal mounting bracket. So basically, there we go. So this is the boost gain controller or whatever, bass level. You can actually adjust that by turning. You can feel it. It's actually, it feels nice. It's got a little drag to it, a little clicking into it. I like that. Here's the input cable, which is right here. This is obviously the cable that goes into it, which it looks to be basically 3.5 millimeter, I think, auxiliary cable connector. Yep, pretty nice and long there. Because most of the time these things are going to go in a trunk. But in my case, I'm going to be putting in probably this up on my, you know, my console that's overhead in the ceiling, and running this cable down through the windshield pillar down to the amp wherever I'm going to be putting it. So that is how I'm going to be doing that. All right, got that, put that over there, put that over here. All right, let's get this thing out of here. Oh, that was the other thing. When I got this thing was shipped to the post office, by the way. When I got this thing, they packaged it pretty decently. But what shocked me was the weight. This thing is hefty. I was a little bit shocked, actually. I did not expect it to be that heavy. Okay, it's not like 500 pounds, but I was not expecting. Again, when you think about the size and the weight of these small Bluetooth speakers, again, that everybody has, you know, and they're just listening, you know, they're Bluetoothing to their smartphone and whatnot, and how heavy those things are. It's crazy to think the power and the sound that those things have. Again, especially you young kids, you don't understand, dude. You don't understand at all unless you've actually been in an old school system in a car, or you've been around speakers from the past, and then suddenly you get these Bluetooth speakers that are just so small and they sound really, really freaking good, and it's like, wow, technology has come a long ways. Okay, all right. So this is the big old mounting strap template. So just blank on one side, got this side here. So this template here, I guess you mark your holes right there where you're going to drill, and that's how you mount those mounting straps down for the templates. And here's the unit itself. If I had to guess, this is 25 pounds. I don't know for a fact, but it's I grew up a farmer, and 20 pound sack of potatoes was common. I gotta say, this is damn near 20. Maybe I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but this is just heavier than I thought it was gonna be. That's for sure. Okay, so let's take a look at it. That's what it looks like there. This feels to be metal. I think that's what they said was aluminum, steel grill. As you can see, looks really good. No scratches or anything anywhere except right there. I don't know what's going on here, but you got something going on right there, and you can see a little bit of rubbing happening right there to that label. In other words, it doesn't look like it's brand new per se. It's got a little bit of fade into it, a little bit of rubbing action, probably from the thing vibrating on the carpet or something, of whoever used to own this before they burned it up or whatever. And again, I say that because it just has a hint of electrical burning coming out of this thing. What else here? So let's look at the side. So got a 10 amp ATO fuse right there, it looks like. Auto turn on. You get to choose whether you want to use the DC circuit or you want to use the remote wire. Level input. Let's see, phase. I don't know much about that. I have to read the instruction. Bass boost. So you got a little gain function here. And something else right there. Got a gain right there. There's that bass remote you plug in there, and then this is where the big old wiring harness plugs in right there. So quite a few things that I need to kind of read about and figure out. Let's do some measurements, shall we? Okay. So I got this baby sitting here at about 14 by 9 1/4, 9 1/2. So it's kind of tapered. Let me just flip it over upside down. That'd probably be the best way to do it. So yeah, 14 by 9 and almost 3/8. 9 3/8. So this baby, that's how big it is. 14 long, 9 3/8 wide. And for its depth, I heard it was around 3 1/4. Let's see what we get. So if we go to the highest point right here on the speaker, I'm going to say, yeah, about 3 1/4. But if you go over here to the edge, where I'm at over here on the edge, you're just under 3, you're just under 3 inches actually. But because this thing is kind of, you can maybe see it. It's just a little bit concave. By the time you get over here, it's probably going to be about 3 1/4 inches up here. Oh, yeah, I can finally actually see a scratch or two here. Okay. But again, I don't care. It's going to be buried. You'll never see it. You'll never know. But again, it's pretty heavy duty. I mean, I'm impressed. So with the technology and the speakers that they are, I'm very positive, very certain that this is going to impress me. I have this unit right here. Here's an old school unit right here. Old school unit. You can see it's been beat up. I got this at a garage sale for $5. This is an 8-inch subwoofer. This is a box. It actually has a little bit of a tweeter here too as well. I don't think there's anything special in here. Like there's no crossover. There's no amp inside here. This is just nothing but a built box that's carpeted, has a tweeter hooked in, and has an 8-inch sub. And as you can see, the grill's pretty smashed up. But it works. It works. And this is like something that, well, let's see if I can see the brand name. It says, I don't know, I can't quite see through all the black of the grill. So I don't, realistic, there we go, realistic. So this is a realistic, so probably kind of a, I don't know, Radio Shack brand or something. This is definitely old school, but you can see it's a ported box. Got a port there, that tweeter there, carpeted everywhere. Some of it's coming off, but it needs to be restapled. Got a carry handle strap there, and then it has the wire board right there. Now I hooked this thing up to my my booster equalizer over here, a small, very small amp. And this thing right here was, I mean, in my opinion, pretty impressive for what it is. And again, this is probably late 90s, 2000 technology, or, vintage, so to speak. Again, my stuff was 12-inch box, much, much bigger. But honestly, probably about the same depth as this. The depth of this, just a lot longer. And I, bolted the amplifier underneath and wired it and all that stuff. But my point is that I think that technically by specs back then, that box that I built for those 12-inch subs that box was too small. And I did not build a ported box, by the way. I built a sealed box. At the time, it was just what I did because that's what I knew at the time. Now this one, as you can see, look how, you know, big it is. But then look at this. This is the actual, you know, this is new technology right here, okay? And this has the amp inside of it. So this is 150 watt with the amp, with the speaker, all enclosed, all ready to go. Look at it. It's way smaller already. And then the weight of this is, I mean, this wood is kind of heavy because I'm pretty sure, this is that old particle board. So you know how particle board, they glue it, and it's just a bunch of glue with all the sawdust. So these are kind of heavier than normal, than plywood, so to speak. But my point is that this is pretty hefty, but this, even though smaller, is just slightly heavier than this big old thing right here. So I'm really excited to try this thing out. I really think that it's going to work. The other thing too, by the way, is you can, according to what I've seen some people do, you could get another one of these if you wanted to, and then you could really, you know, kick up the bass. Or, you know, if I don't like it, maybe I'll sell it and go buy a 10 or a 12 in this same scenario. But I don't think I'll be able to fit the 10 or the 12 underneath my seat like I will this one. But again, like I said, if I actually build that center console on the floor, I could definitely go to a 12, a single 12. I'd probably go, I know I could. So that's a potential possibility down the road. But again, because this is a factory authorized dealer, this is a little bit of a refurbished unit. And I got it at such a great price because I think those single 12s and single 10s, I mean, you're looking at $400 minimum. It's a start, and you can go all the way up to $1,000. I think even $1,500 for those things. But for $170 shipped to your door, I'll try this first. So we're gonna see how well this works. I'm hoping for good things. I'm glad you got to take part in this little unboxing video so you can kind of see what this is all about. Also, you were able to discover, you know, again, where I got this and how I got it so cheap like I did. Just, again, understand that your results may vary. In my case, I got a little bit of staining on the box, on the back, got a little bit of rubbing of that label there, etc. And I do have a few little itty-bitty scratch lines here in the Kicker label. But outside of that, this thing looks to me to be a very good unit. Almost, I would say 95% brand new is what I would call this. And again, like I said, the slight stench of smell, I mean, I don't even have to put it up to my nose. I mean, my nose don't breathe like it used to, especially after the commies got us with that COVID. I can smell just a little bit of that old leftover electrical burn. And I'm pretty sure that's how this ended up back at the factory authorized center where they supposedly fixed it. And they sent it back out at a much reduced price with the scratches on it and whatnot. And I'm going to be bench testing this to make sure it works before I spend all that time, installing it. But once I get that done, then we'll go ahead and install it, or we'll be calling them up saying, hey, you need to give me another one. So, like, subscribe, rumble, and come back for more, because I'll have a whole lot more for you. Thank you much. Bye-bye.